3, 2, 1.
So when you take your clothes off, what is left? Your naked body, your birthday suit. When you take your human clothing off, not just the clothes, the skin, the bones, the hair, the teeth, organs, your stuff, your practicalities, your logic, your actions, down to the very cells of this vehicle that we're in called the physical body, what is left? Some would say nothing. Nothing's left. Some would be wrong, because what is left is actually everything. There's a famous quote by Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, and it goes like this: we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. I'll say it again. I know I've said it before. I've used it before. You've probably heard it before, but let me say it. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. You know, when all else seems to be failing, when nothing seems to be going my way, when life seems to have been wasted, I know, if I didn't know before, I know that it's time to remove my human clothing. Now, I'm not talking about ending it all. I'm talking about returning to pure spirit. Because I don't have to end it all to connect to and live as pure spirit, to just be in pure spirit. Now, we've seen this idea proved in many ways in many of the near-death experience stories. You might have read some. If not, read Proof of Heaven by Eben Alexander, who is a neurosurgeon, who had a week-long coma brought on by meningitis. And he was actually incapable of brain activity, supposedly. And yet he had this near-death experience that he was able to remember being pure spirit. You could read the book To Heaven and Back by Mary C. Neal, who is the former director of spinal surgery at the University of Southern California. She's in private practice now. But hers happened while submerged in a river after a kayaking incident. She had this near-death experience, and she found herself remembering in this unconscious state pure spirit. She had removed her human clothing. Or you can read one of my favorite books, Dying to Be Me by Anita Moorjani. Or you could read After. A doctor explores what near-death experiences reveal about life and beyond by Dr. Bruce Grayson, who's a professor emeritus of psychiatry and neurobehavioral sciences at the University of Virginia, and he's been studying this for years and years and years. In these stories, we learn that we aren't our successes or failures. We aren't our brains or our bodies. We are spiritual beings. You might remember the story I've told about the 5-year-old boy who kept asking his parents to spend a little alone time with the new sister. And when his parents asked him why he wanted to be alone with the new baby, the little 5-year-old said that he needed to talk to her alone because he was starting to forget God. Have you ever felt like that? Have you ever forgotten how you are connected with divine intelligence? I know I have. I know not only recently I have. And I had to take the time to get out of the doing and the acting and the having and the wondering and even the dreaming, to being. Like God, or the concept that we refer to as God, we are infinite beings. We are that creative energy that makes and has made all. We are part of that. That is our essence, our alpha and zeta, our beginning and ending, from womb to tomb, to quote West Side Story, from birth to earth, our before and beyond, without time, without space. We are spiritual beings. I was reading a quote by Leslie Caron, and she said, in order to have great happiness, you have to have had great pain and unhappiness. Otherwise, how would you know when you're happy? Now, no offense to Ms. Caron, she's a very nice person. We used to have voice lessons one after the other, so I always got to say hi to her many years ago. And others have said a similar kind of quote, but I totally disagree. I don't believe that you need a comparison to know or appreciate happiness or health or success. To me, that idea of needing the comparison is an ignorance of the learned, an ignorance of those who, in our adultness, have decided we need to learn something that is natural. Feeling that way is, I believe, from one who is out of touch with one's greater self. Because when you're in touch with, when you connect with your greatest self, you don't need that comparison. It just is. You may have that comparison to look at, but you don't need it to know when you're in happiness and when you're not. When you're in success and when you're not, when you're in health or when you're not, when you are in joy, you just know it. Too many of us on too many occasions are not present in our bodies or our minds, not our brains, but in our minds, in our wholeness, in our pureness, in our essence. Marcus Aurelius, who was a philosophical emperor of Rome, and around the 2nd century, he said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Therefore, guard accordingly and take care that you entertain no notions that are unsuitable to happiness, that are unsuitable to joy. And Margaret Lee Runbeck, who's the author of 16 novels, but she's very well known for her quotes. She wrote this: happiness is not a station to arrive at, but a manner of traveling. Isn't that fabulous? Happiness is not a station to arrive at, but a manner of traveling. I love that so much. So how are you traveling? And where are you traveling from? Now, I can't answer that for you. That's your perspective to decide upon. But I can tell you this: when you strip away your human clothing and awaken to your spiritual magnificence, your spiritual intelligence, your spiritual creativity, you tap into an infinite storehouse of information, intuitive ideas, wisdom, a foundation of clarity and calm. It's just there. It just shows up. When you remove your human clothing, you don't talk at the universe. You talk to it. You talk with it. You talk as it. You talk to that power and presence of nature, that infinite wisdom. You connect to and converse with the light and the power of God that is all around us. It's a sensation. It's a feeling like love. You don't see the light with your eyeballs. You experience it. You don't see that power with your eyeballs, although you may see the effect of it, but you live it. That is the effect of it. You live it and that which is around you. Now, your goals in life may be powerful. You've written them down and you thought about it, you contemplate them. They are a part of you. But unless you connect with them, not just that idea on the piece of paper, I know how powerful it is to write the goals versus just have them floating in your head. But unless you connect with them through your imagination and your feeling, through your heart, not just your brain, but your mind, like you do with spirit, they're just merely words and wishes and hopes and possibilities, yes. Remove the ego of lack, of maybe, of someday, of tomorrow, of before, of victimhood, of bills and bosses and news and dis-ease of the body or the brain or the relationships in your life or the other situations in your life, and even remove the successes and the acclaim and the talents and the victories or any prosperity in your life. Remove them from your head for now. And what is left? What is left? Not emptiness, my friends, but the most full of all that you can be. You are left with prime. You are left with the prime. Do you remember what prime is? Prime is a number that can only be divided by itself and one. You are connecting to your oneness. You are connecting to, just like spirit, just like the divine mind, the creative power, first cause, the absolute, the energy and frequency of the Big Bang, the formless, the radiance. You are connecting to prime, to one, that which only you can be a part of in your life. Remove our human clothing, and we are at our prime, our very essence, our very worth, our headquarters, our factory settings. It is the basis of our existence. It is the dawn of our being. It is the birth of our humanity, the genesis, the starting point of all. Like Beyonce wrote, yeah, and the wind is talking, with a melody that pulls you towards it, painting pictures of paradise, saying, rise up, light in the sky, watch the light lift your heart up, burn your flame through the night. Watch the heavens open. Yea, Spirit, can you hear it calling? Connect to, commune with, and awaken as the divine within you. Always start there and always end there, no matter where you are or what's going on. It's there with your human clothing off, with your human clothing removed. It is there where you enhance, support, ground, center, expand, love, and transform your spiritual experience into your human experience. Now, tomorrow, and forever. Thank you so much. Namaste.